Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Prime Minds, we are back. This is episode 7, and forgive us for the time change a little bit. You know, some folks got some IRL things to do, so we're just a few hours behind. So if we're off a little bit, just give us some grace. Oh, also, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. If you're a son, if you're a father, wish your mom, wish your wife happy Mother's Day. Buy some flowers, all of the above. Show them some appreciation. But we're here. We're back. As you know, this is King Dav. I'm here with my buddies by the Dip, Z Mackin, Vita G, Bunzaga, and we had some developments this past week, boys. Looks like the white paper came out. Let's go around. What's your overall feeling about the white paper? How are you feeling? And then there was also a game leak. What are y'all feeling about the white paper dropping the game leak?
Hey, this is Bunzaga. I think it's awesome. I think it's wonderful that they came out with the white paper. They came out with game leaks. They came out with a bunch of lore. It's been a good week.
Oh, I missed the lore. Yeah, let's go around. Who else?
This is by the Dip. Very bullish information that came out. Very happy with everything, and it came in bunches, right, guys? It just came in bunches, and it's a really good feeling to know that this project is on the right path.
Yep.
Definitely, this is Z Mackin. I was happy to see the white paper get dropped. They had a lot come out this week. A lot of stuff for us to talk about, and excited about what I saw. It's very basic, but it gets across the information that we needed to hear for right now. It gets us our appetite satiated for the time being until they can get a little bit more information in there and get a full blown out on us. So I'm looking forward to more. Always more.
Great.
This is Vita G. I was muted before. Fun times talking to your empty room. Man, it was a good week. Like everybody said, I don't want to take full credit for it, but I do think that there was, there was a little bit of a demand for some increased transparency and new stuff coming out. And I think that was heard. That wasn't just us saying it, that we represent the community in that as well. The community's been saying that. I think it's awesome that they had a Prime only review of the white paper beforehand. We got some, additional information from Zero Cool. So I'm pretty stoked this week. A little bit different tenor of my voice, if you can tell from last week.
Right. Yeah. We're always glad to see some things. I think, all the questions we had about what's the next steps, what is the game looking like, what's set in stone, what's speculation. A lot of that was answered. Oh, the white paper, what is today? Saturday? I forget the date. May 7th. Am I right? Holy shit. What's the date,
Do you guys
guys?
know where the white paper is listed? I'm trying to find it.
Yes.
Put it up.
It's an announcement. Let me share the document to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But King Dad,
Saturday.
it is Saturday, May 7th. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Saturday, May 7th. Thank you. Look, I forget what time zone we're in. Look, and the fact that this show is a few hours back, I'm all messed up here. It is Saturday, May 7th. It's 3 days past the white paper drop. The Prime Eternal holders got the preview with the legendary Zero Cool going through the preview of the white paper, but the actual white paper dropped on Thursday. And I think a lot of us are probably still digesting it. I think I read it a couple times, pick some things out, but like everybody said, we have a lot to dive into today. And we have also a special guest that can kind of maybe DJ out with us, kind of show us some behind the scenes. As you know, the team, the devs, the folks that run in the Discord on the Champions Ascension team, they come on, they show some love to this podcast. And today we're going to have Captain Chris come up. First, we're going to talk a little bit about what he's doing in the sense of community building and the Discord. Some of the scavenger hunts, things like that, and a little bit about himself. And then we're going to dive into the white paper together. All 6 of us, plus the audio bot. So is Captain Chris here? Or is he coming up? I see him in the waiting room.
There he is.
It's Captain Chris.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks
Welcome
for
to
having
Prime
me.
Minds. Yeah, welcome, bro. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Captain Chris, do you listen? Are you a Prime Minds listener? It's not even on our list of questions, but I just want to know. Are you a Prime Minds listener?
I've listened to the Squiddy one, the Ice Toad one, and your first one. I haven't listened to all of them, but I like what I hear.
Oh, just when your buddies are on, I see, huh? That's great. Show them some love. That's good. So I understand from what I understand, from what I see, I'm in the Discord in and out. We all have our IRL things to do, but I understand that you're one of the community managers, in charge of the community building. And I see that we're coming upon some new games and some new activities. But first, let's back up. It's Captain Chris. Let's back up a little bit. The things that you all do in the Discord and everything, and the jobs that you have, that's, from what I understand, that has to be a new job, right? I'm wondering, Prime Minds want to know, right? And I'm wondering, like, even when you put on, like when you're applying for a mortgage, what the hell do you put on for your employment? But you don't got to get into that. How do you come around to working for Jam City? What is that process like? Like, just talk about that process when it comes to being a Discord manager, community manager, and working for Jam City.
It's actually a really kind of winding story where I first applied for Jam City as an office coordinator, to kind of like run social events for the office, help people out, do everything like that. Interview process went out pretty good. Didn't get the job, but in the end, it was Zero Cool who was very impressed with my D&D skills. I've been doing it for about 7 years now, and he offered me a position to come and run D&D for the company as like a social event. So I started doing that for a few months, being kind of like the on-staff DM. And through there, that's how we saw the work I do with Discord, where I have a background in events and stuff. I ran an esports bar, I did entertainment, I did stage production, and a lot of his community building, where I'd build up these local groups with meetups and through Discords and things. And so there were a bunch I moderated and used that to build up my worlds and get players together. And it's just like, this is what we need for a crypto Discord. So he offered me the position of Discord manager, and that's how I got started here.
Oh, just a social person. So D&D, that's Dungeons and Dragons. The listening public that are not aware. And I've heard of it, me personally, many times. I've heard of Dungeons and Dragons. Never had a chance to sit down and play it. I don't know, maybe just in terms of educating some folks that have not been through it before. What is Dungeons and Dragons like? Like, how does the game go?
At its core, it's a fantasy role-playing tabletop game. You've got dice, you have character sheets. It can seem a little bit complicated at first, but at the end of the day, it's a world where you do whatever you want, and the dungeon master, the person in charge of running the game, decides how that affects the world.
Okay, and that you're just a very experienced dungeon master, then.
Yes, indeed. My longest running campaign is about 7 years long right now.
I might want to pop in on one of these D&D games we have going on. Yeah, talk more about that. Are we setting some up for the Discord for some champion holders for some Dungeons and Dragons games coming up? I thought I saw something like that.
That is going to be part of the plan for the next kind of big Discord event that's coming in. I know some of you have been seeing some unusual things popping up in the lore and the socials. That is going to lead to something eventually. And
nice.
The result of that is going to be a modified game of D&D that will actually have players from the server are going to come in and play a canon storyline, and they're going to make a choice that will affect the main course of the game.
What?
Does that have to do with the scavenger hunt that you guys have set up?
It does indeed.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I can't give too many details because we're still setting up all the pieces to the puzzle. So if you haven't solved anything, don't worry. There's no solution yet. We're just dropping clues.
Gonzaga is on it, just so you know. Our local genius. I know you have the genius.
I'm seeing clues everywhere.
He sees it all, and we're diving into it.
I'm sure you've
So,
got your cork board with the strings and the pictures.
yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be very exciting. It's something I've been working on with writer Ryan. It's been very cool, like, work together on this. And once it's done, for the first time, I am going to be locking down house membership roles because we are going to be competing between your houses.
Ooh.
But okay.
That has absolutely nothing to do with guilds then either, right?
Yeah, I did we had started the writing process before the guild really started becoming a presence on the server, and I did consider it. Maybe in the future we'll add the option to have a guild as a team. But for this one, because we'd already done the story for it, we decided to just make it the houses, and also because not everyone's part of a guild and we want to everyone compete. But definitely in the future, if we do more team events like this, I would be down to allow a guild to essentially form its own team to compete.
Mm-hmm. How does that game? Where does it happen at? Is it on an audio? Is it on the Discord? A D&D game?
So that will be a live stream game. So I use a tabletop platform called Astral Tabletop, where essentially you sign in and you get to move your character around and you see what your character sees. So I've been building the maps myself of the location it's going to take place in, which is still a secret, but it's a very cool place that you guys have not seen much of before. And it's going to be a pretty cool adventure where I'm going to essentially, whoever wins, I will turn your champions into a playable character for D&D, and then you will get to decide what happens with a pretty major decision in the history of Messina.
Okay, and is there one winner that comes from a game like that?
So essentially, the people who win the scavenger hunt, they will be the ones playing, and this will not be so much they'll be winners. You don't win D&D so much as you'll complete the adventure. What's exciting is that then those champions will be part of the main canon of the game. Of what they did, that will be part of the lore. So if you got a cool Karkadon, it'll go into codified lore. It's this specific Karkadon went here and did this thing, and that's why this exists in the game right now.
And a quick question: is that going to act and I know we do a lot of speculating here. Is that somehow going to be connected into the real game eventually?
Potentially, yes, because it'll affect sort of the way the storyline is going. So, it's hard to talk about saying what the choice is, but I'll say yes.
and I was a real big fan because I was here for the Rebel event, right, where they cut off the fruit, and then the fruit was 15,000 Messina coins, right? It was all crazy. That was actually one of the most funnest times I've ever had in any Discord. And I was wondering, are you guys gonna have do you have an event kind of like that planned for Discord?
So the plan is that this event will be similar to that. Once we actually spin up the teams and stuff and have the channels, there's going to be extra stuff happening and stuff hidden within the Discord. And once you guys really start competing, I think you're going to see that rivalry and the mystery come back to it as the different houses fight to decipher clues and look stuff up.
Wow, I could dive in. Yeah, because I was a little bit new. I got in right before the minting, and I missed that whole the rebels throwing the fruit to the at the emperor. But I heard a lot about it. Unfortunately, I missed it, so I'd like to get back into that myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous too because I was a member of the Discord, but I didn't follow it very frequently, and it all happened without me even knowing, and I feel like I missed my chance.
Yeah, I'm Chris, really looking forward to this one. It's going to be exciting.
Awesome. And I'm curious because I do see, this is related to By the Dip's question, but I think it's slightly different because he was talking about will the lore storyline impact the game? But I'm just wondering those Discord tags, people who are here for the Rebel Alliance, they have those Rebel tags. Will those impact anything related to the game, or can we assign that to specific Prime Eternals that we hold or something like that?
That's something that I've discussed with the team, see if it's possible. In theory, it's something I would like to do. I don't know how feasible it's going to be, just because a little bit of difficulty. Essentially associating a wallet with a Discord account at times. But I think we do have some ideas, and so I can't promise anything. But I would like to see, for some of the OG roles, the rebels and things like that, having even just a small thing, a title or something like that, or some kind of achievement that follows you around would be a really cool thing to give.
I'd like to
Definitely.
have one.
Me too. I'm a completionist when it comes to games. I like to get all of the gamer tags, all of the achievements completed. So anything like that would be something worth grinding for in the Discord, right?
Mm-hmm. Because I think it
Think
would be
so.
fun to have something to give to the people who were there, did the events and stuff like that, and have it carry over into the main game.
Definitely.
But we'll see.
A little bit of speculation here, Chris, if you don't mind getting in. For getting the Discord active again and people interested, we were kind of discussing earlier in the week as Prime Minds about the elemental champions and stuff like that, and we were wondering if Gem City is going to be doing a mint of regular champions. Is that something that I know you can't really give out in much alpha, but another second Genesis mint or second line mint would bring a lot of attention back to the Discord and back to Champions Ascension in general. Would that be something that you guys would be developing more Discord activities towards, or can you speak on that at all?
Yeah, so, we have been discussing about what the best way to, because we will have to seed in new players. We don't have any conclusive plans on it, but definitely when it comes to time when we have the game out to the point we're ready to bring in that new player base, there would be a lot of hype around it and go back to the way things used to be. Get tons of people in competing for the chance at those, because it's got to be a balance, right, between having it so that your any characters bred are in demand and not making them irrelevant by just making another drop.
Yeah, because I mean, with the white paper coming out and the limits for breeding and stuff, you're gonna have an automatic limit for the number of other champions that we can make based off just the Eternals, the Prime Eternals, correct? So it's we're hoping, obviously, that limit, which we'll discuss later today, will be a lot less than the number of players that want to come and join the game once it's released. So.
Yeah, exactly. And as you saw, there are plans for that limit to, potentially go back up again with special events and things. And, it's because, as we've seen in other projects, if, we'd rather give it less breeding and give more later once things work out than overbreed at first and have way too many champions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that a lot of that was spelled out in the white paper, right? I guess we'll move into the white paper. And Chris, feel free to answer what you can answer. We don't want to put you on the spot, and maybe some of these things aren't even worked out yet, but we might have some questions. We might just speculate. You can stay silent and forever hold your peace, or you can chime in. You can drop some alpha. Feel free to do what you want to do. But yeah, when it comes to white paper and breeding, one of the new things we found out was that other champions, not the PEs, but some of the other champions will be limited to 3. But once they ascend to different levels, they'll be able to breed 3 more. But that's pretty interesting, But the thing that I think the Prime Eternal holders should be happy about, the thing that I love to see is that the Prime Eternals will be the control mechanism, or the way that the economy, depending on the demand and supply, it'll be the source of bringing in some of those new champions, right? So that's what I was happy to see. Certain events we'd be able to breed more, things like that. So I guess I'm throwing this out to the Prime Minds and everybody. What do you think about the breeding part of this, and where we're at with the position we're in as PE holders?
Yeah, this by the dip. You know what? You guys really hit the nail on the head with this breeding. Just because a lot of the games, that was their biggest problem. Axie, you even have what was it, Peg Axie, right? Or Pegaxie with the horses. The problem was,
I think
so many overbreeding and not the demand was big enough. Now, they're not saying that, okay, your Prime Eternal can only breed 3 times and that's it. No, for Prime Eternals separately, we'll have events. I don't know if Chris can confirm or deny this, but we will have events to where it said in the white paper that our breeding count will reset and we'll be able to breed more. Does that sound correct, Captain Chris?
Yeah. So, I am not super updated with the current breeding things. That's been worked on by another team. But I do know the idea was that by having these events, we can potentially reset your breed counts when it's, a healthy time for the economy to have those back again. And to avoid, like, overflooding, if there's not enough players and everyone breeds their 3 and they're sitting around. Or if we gave you guys, like, 10, right?
Totally agree
At the
with
end of the
that.
day, as much as people want to, breed and have their things, it's also you want it to have longevity and, hold over time. So having these special
definitely
events
wanna-
to kind of continue would be really great.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to get in a situation like we're actually had to introduce something where they're essentially having people burn their axes for the opportunity to get some random NFT that'll never be given out again, right? Like, all that does is it is an admittal that they allowed overbreeding to occur. We definitely don't want to be having to, do that where we're essentially getting a random NFT for coins that we could have, traded for ETH at some point in time.
Yeah,
Because
and I
there's
think
too many.
you'll see that also in the white paper it's mentioned that there is champion death that can happen, which will also be a useful thing where they can become gear, they can die if you don't resurrect them, which will also help to keep things stable.
In-game control, right? And then I guess as breeding has to do with the currency, but yeah, let's say I'm breeding a little bit. It's so just to wrap my mind around it, and maybe the folks listening that just kind of didn't dive deep into the white paper yet. So when the Prime Eternals do have some of the progeny, the offspring, that goes all the way down to what was the first tier champion? That first tier champion,
Gladiators.
Oh, okay.
a gladiator,
Sorry, challenger. Sorry.
Challengers.
Challenger.
Yeah.
And so, and I guess I'm talking about the future here, but then I'm thinking the other the one that's one level below Prime Eternal, when they have a progeny, that's also going to be a challenger. So they'll all be challengers, all of the offspring. Is that correct?
Yes, because a lot of the fun of the game is going to be kind of starting from that and building them up to be a new Eternal. Is going to be that's the road you want to travel.
This if it's the offspring progeny, we'll say I think we call it progeny in this game. If it's that of the Prime Eternals, what is there a better chance that they will start off stronger, or is it random, or is it based on purity? Can you shed some light on that? Or we can also speculate on it.
I don't know the exact mechanics myself. I know
Right,
that purity does play a role in inheritance.
I'm throwing that. I get it. I'm throwing that to the prime minds. Let's speculate then. What do y'all think when it comes to? And I think they mentioned purity a little bit. Is in when it comes to breeding, if you have what do you think when you have, say for instance, 2 really high purity, 4 or 5 purity champions? What would that look like? Do we like? I wonder. Do we know for fact, or what would that look like for the progeny, the offspring?
Well, you got to think, are you talking about like everything's pure life, or you're talking like breeding a pure life with a pure death? Because I mean, like if you have a bunch of mix of everything, then you're probably gonna get a mutt coming out on the other side, right? But if say you have like 3 pure life mixing with a 4 pure life, I'm guessing the ones that have matching purity, they're gonna have a very, very high percentage to come out as life on the other side, right?
Well, yeah, I think that's what they said was the purity gives you a statistical advantage that specific type of part would be passed on to the progeny. It's been reiterated multiple times that actually having a mix of things might be a more advantageous strategy, right? Like owning, like cornering the market on just life primes, like that's a strategy and it might work out, but it seems like there's been a lot of conversation around being adaptable and having a well-rounded stable is actually going to be a more beneficial style because you're just going to be able to adapt to different events or whatever is happening. It sounds like there's like events or like almost seasons, like they might do seasons like we've seen in games like Call of Duty or Halo. A certain prime might be really important for that particular event or season.
Yeah, I picked that up too. It's good to have a diverse set of primes with different essences. I even picked up they're talking about even the next. Am I saying that right? The essences coming up next to have a diverse set of like the air, the water, things like that, because different
Elemental
events
essence.
will come up. Yep,
Sorry,
different
King Dev.
elemental. No, you're right. Yeah, the different elemental essences that are coming up. It's for the different events that are coming up to have them ready to go.
Yeah, they're talking about Zero School specifically said for the current meta, right? Which is what performs best right now under the given circumstances provided by the developer. So
Right. And not only that see in breeding, they have a chart, and I'm gonna bring it up in a little bit. And it's for Bazaga, it's in champion structure. Now it has demon, beast, celestial, humanoid, dragonoid, undead. Now there's only certain parts, like for instance, demons don't have claws, but they have everything else. A beast doesn't have war paint, but does have everything else. And then celestials don't have a tail, but they have everything else. Now, in the breeding part, this is probably going to be playing a big aspect too. And I'm just speculating on this as well. Captain Chris can jump in and shoot it down if he wants, but I'm just speculating on that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for what I know, like definitely, as we said in the white paper, purity will be an important factor. If more purity will increase the chances of progeny being pure. I am actually hoping that now this is out, the plan is to have more detailed AMAs around like specific sections of it. Because we have a team who did the breeding, we have a team who did tokenomics, and a lot of it, we couldn't give a lot of detail on it because we needed it approved to be published. So now that's happening, we're looking at in the coming weeks getting like the team who actually built this, who did the mechanics, coming up and really diving in with a good old-fashioned AMA.
looking forward to that. We've been missing our CA AMAs, man. That's exciting news right there.
I know, we can talk
Yeah,
about
it
so
is
much
cool.
more now.
Yeah, I like that. We have the white paper is kind of like the overall view, the big view of it, and then we'll get the finer detailed information about each section later.
Yeah. So,
That's
we're already
awesome.
talking to see who's gonna. I don't know which one's gonna be first. We're gonna talk about tokenomics or breeding or like land, but like I definitely could do an AMA about each one individually. Like I know Zero Cool could talk for hours and hours.
Yeah,
I believe that was
all of them. No, go ahead.
King Dav and I we want to talk at the same time all day today.
Right.
It's the time change. We're struggling over here. I was gonna say that. So that was part of why you all released that survey in the Discord, was to figure out which things we the community are most excited about, so you can have those AMAs first. Is that correct?
Yeah, and also to think about like the future of the gameplay, to see how excited people for like the open world, like the auto battle for staking and stuff like that. Kind of like what our main focus should be on.
And
Because
I'm just
obviously
gonna
step one, 1v1 fighter, but what happens next? Like, do people want like fishing? Do they want crafting?
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm actually super interested in how these elemental essence champions are gonna get introduced into the game. Just floating it out there because they aren't released in the Prime Eternals. They aren't Prime Eternals, so it's like I think all of our holders are getting a special drop of one of those, but are like those the only ones that are going to go out? Or is there going to be like a second mint? Or like I'm just super interested about the elementals and how that is going to impact what we've already got going on and established in the game.
I'm afraid I can't shed too much light on that, as because it's still in open discussion about different ways we can do it. But definitely we want to make sure that whatever's done, that the holders have a chance to make sure they have a place at that, right?
Vita, that's a great question, because I'd imagine maybe it'll be another mint. Of course, we're going to see. This one, there would have been a limit of 10,000. We know with the glorious 7622. And a lot of times you'll see, a run of a first mint, and then you'll see a second mint in the same project, right? And then a lot of times they would, give something to the original holder of the first mint, maybe drop us some of the, the second mint champions too, which I think would be a nice perk for a holder if that does come around that way.
Yeah. And another thing to speculate on too, right, is so these champions, I mean the Eternals, right? Not Prime Eternals. It seems like Prime Eternals are only in the three houses of health, death, and arcane, right? The life, death, and arcane. So the other ones that are wind, water, right? When it comes to breeding, and I'm just purely speculating from what I'm seeing, that us, the Prime Eternal holders, seem like it's going to be responsible for providing the life, death, and arcane regular Eternals. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody starts as a challenger, but if your challenger can have a life, death, or arcane essence, because the other elementals are going to have earth, they're going to have water, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, just going back to my comment earlier, like with the three breeds, the Prime Eternals, if you take that into consideration and each one breeds the max amount, we're gonna have a total um, limit of just under 23,000 of the challengers that come in as possibility of life, death, and arcane, right? And those are going to be, since champions can only breed with the same tier champions, those are going to be the first ones that will be able to mix in with the elemental champions, right? So we'll have those original about 23,000 fully total, because if you look at the first 600 minters per, each one of those 600 people are going to get a regular essence or an elemental essence champion, right? So right off the bat, if primes max out the breeding, including the elemental champions that come in from the founders perk stuff, you got about 23,000 total additionals. So like we have to have some other way to get more people into the game, right? Because you can't play the game unless you have a champion, and we're going to have hopefully more than 23,000 additional people wanting to play the game. But those are going to be the only ones that have life, death, and arcane. It's going to be up to those to essentially spread their seed and get through the different, the gladiator tier and the eternal tier, so that we have the opportunity to have the mixture of the elemental and the life, death, arcane traits mixed together.
And maybe that's, as King Dav said, maybe if there's a perk for those who are holding the originals, maybe we get an extra breed count. Like it sounds like there's going to be mechanisms to allow the Prime Eternals to exceed or renew their breed count kind of whenever. There was something in the white paper, and I'm sorry I don't have like the exact. It was something about like the program itself will kind of determine what needs to happen, right? And so it can kind of, the way that I read it was kind of like it can ramp things up if there's, way more demand than supply, or it can turn it down if you have the inverse happening. And so maybe that is something where they allow us to have more breeds in the beginning as an additional perk as they're releasing these new ones.
Well, it also kind of would depend on if they what the whole beta system is, right? Because that was supposed to be one of the perks of minting a Prime Eternal, is getting the opportunity to get in with beta. So if they allow us to, as a Prime Eternal holders, start breeding our primes to begin with in the beta, we could and then they do a reset on your breeding before the actual game goes live. Like that's another way that they could increase the population for the people who are wanting to play at live launch.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the beta and the gameplay, I remember on the roadmap, and I'm guessing there's an update. And Chris, you're here, so chime in if you want to. But the land gameplay and the staking was to come out next. And I guess, Chris, is that still the case? Is there an update to the roadmap? Will the land gameplay, will that be coming soon, or is that still the next thing that we'll see?
So I know like staking, like we don't have a comment like when it's going to happen. It is moving forwards faster now that we have the white paper out and like the way we want to move ahead is approved. But we haven't published an update on it. In terms of like gameplay, I think like what's coming in the summer is we're going to have a little bit of like the fighter client coming out. In terms of land, I haven't heard about that yet to see what that is. I think, well, you've seen some of the potential, like the land gameplay in the sense of we have the social system done in last week's the Thursday leak. You saw that we are able to have multiple champions in like a single space with the voice chat and emotes.
Yeah,
So yeah, that is going to be
that was
something
nice.
that is being worked on actively, and I think maybe even might come around at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now that you mentioned it, yeah, that game leak we talked about a little bit at the top. That game leak was awesome. Yeah, Prime Minds, what do you feel about the game leak? Let's give that a little bit of attention. I thought it was nice looking. I showed my kids. I'm like, "Is this a game you will play?" They're like, "Yeah, let's play it." I'm like, "Oh, we got to wait for it." It looks like a really cool social area. The champions were just partying. Looked like some exclusive club. They were hanging out, I guess, before they went to go to try to kill each other in the arena. Seems like a neutral place where you can just chill and be peaceful. What do you guys feel about that game leak?
This is by the dip. I love it, like, because it was only showing it at 30 FPS, and I'm sure, you know, they were just testing it. It's gonna be at least 60 FPS. But I mean, even with 30, it looked great. Like the way the Ilgrim moved, the moves, the body, the hips, you can actually see the hips moving. That's a quality game right there.
Yeah,
I was so excited
really
we got
cool.
to release this to you guys because I've been seeing like the progress on like the in-engine social stuff for a while, and to finally like have it in front of the eyes of like the holders and stuff to see that not only we're building like a great fighting game, but this is going to have like the actual world that you can exist in like as your champions and like walk around in.
I thought that was awesome. I thought it was super cool that you can like have voice comms and you can talk to each other if they're in proximity, and just that there's all this like dancing and a jukebox, and like you can look out the window and see the moon out there, and there's all this stuff going on aside from just the combat arena.
It'd be nice if we could have a damn bar fight. Someone talks some shit, tries to talk to your girl, and you just bust a bottle over his head. What do y'all think?
That might be in the taverns down in another area. That definitely looks more like a chill spot right there. I think that actually looked like one of the Moon Palace, like the behind that.
Oh yeah,
kind of like
was,
the behind the 7622 door where that might have been right there.
that was more exclusive. Yeah, that's going to be my place when I build some land. I'm gonna build the place where you find the fights, get drunk, and just start a bar fight. No, but you know what? Let's get back to it. You know, even the white paper, the first thing that jumped out to me was actually the blueprints. I think this was the first mention of a blueprint, which will be the way that you'd be able to build the weapons, some of the in-game assets and the buildings on the land. Prime Minds, what do y'all think about the concept of the blueprints, which are NFTs themselves? What do you guys think about that?
I thought it was pretty cool and familiar. You know, I've seen blueprints in EVE Online, and then World of Warcraft, and like a lot of other games have crafting recipes. My only question is there a count to how many times a blueprint can be used?
Oh,
Yeah, kind
Captain
of
Chris,
said
what do
that
you
they're
think?
going to be.
No,
It's
sorry.
not something I can comment on. I do not know.
Speculation. What's going on? Yeah, what do you think? Back to us.
So I remember reading that they're going to be limited NFTs, right? So that to me would tell me that like you're probably going to have the option to build only a specific amount, because like say you go and do one of these challenges that's a I'm guessing, so like they're talking about having like full land game and full open world stuff, next year. So let's say one of the first things that we have is like, a Valentine's Day. Like if you go out and you get like some weapon that's related to Valentine's Day, they don't want to be able to just print an infinite amount of those, right? But then again, if you go out and you're building, you're just attacking a dungeon and you get something, or you win a blueprint from an arena battle, they also don't want to be able to have the opportunity to mint 1 million of a regular weapon either. So I think it kind of goes without saying that these NFTs are going to be a very limited print. Like some of them, you're probably only going to be able to use at one time only.
I think it could be, but go ahead, Dip.
Oh,
Go ahead, go.
and a big thing is that what's their titles? Like, you know how like I play a lot of Call of Duty, guys. So they always have skins, legendary skins, rare, comic, epic, right? Are these blueprints going to be legendary blueprints? Are they going to be epic blueprints, common blueprints? Maybe the common ones you can do, you know, maybe it's just a common axe to chop wood, right? You'd be able to just keep building those, but something like a legendary diamond axe, you know, that you bought with your diamond coin, maybe you would only be able to make that one time.
Like more rare, or there's different ways. This might have been why it took so much work to dial everything in, because even with the tokens themselves, you're going to have enough tokens to make these things. So you can have the blueprint. Say it's the most rare thing that you have to build. It's one of the things that I want to make more rare. They can really just make it more expensive to build it, and you don't necessarily have to use it once and then the blueprint goes away, right? Or burn the blueprint to use it. So there's different ways you can dial that in. It would be nice if, I guess either way it could work. They either make a lot of blueprints that you use once and they burn, but then they'd have to make a lot more blueprints, or they make a lot less blueprints and just make things more expensive to build. But the thing I like about it is they're NFTs themselves. So you can, and it's so funny because say for instance, you have a blueprint for a weapon or for something you want to forge. You can sell that blueprint itself, or you can make the weapon and sell it. So there's different ways you can profit off of that. And then there's different ways to get the blueprints, from what I understand. Right? Talk more, because I'm not even sure about the ways we get the blueprints.
So
yeah, well, I mean, just
go ahead, Z-Making.
Going off that, like, it's going to be a major benefit even to people who don't own primes, because, like, you know, there's going to have your, like, for us, when we have the diamond tokens, for example, they talk a lot about these diamond gauntlets that, you know, everybody's going to want these diamond gauntlets, but only people who own primes who are collecting diamond tokens are going to be able to physically make those unless they sell their diamond tokens to other people. But, like, say you're a free-to-play person, you go do a quest and you get a diamond blueprint, you could then turn around and sell that to a prime holder for the prime holder to be able to create. So, like, that's a pretty good idea to have these blueprints as tradable or sellable NFTs, in my mind.
So this is V to G. I am stoked on the blueprint idea in general, because I think it does just add a little bit more rarity and control to what we're going to be able to get in the game. Like, that to me was like building this game is going to be built distinctly different from any game that we've ever played, right? So I always go back to World of Warcraft, where it's like you could just go to the auction house and you just buy, there's any number of weapons you could get, right? Whereas each one of these, and yeah, you had like the levels of rarity, right? You had your commons and your rares and all that, but there was, as far as I know, there wasn't really a cap on how many, the number of each one of those items, even with the rarity, could be in the world. Whereas this is actually saying, like, there is a rarity to absolutely everything in the world, and there can only be this many. So I just think that's really cool. I think that gives us a more of a feeling of ownership, because it is something unique and distinct that we can have. But talking about blueprints, we actually got a pretty interesting question from the chat that I wanted to pose to Chris, actually. One of our community members, LT, or the Shark, he goes by many names. He's very active in the Discord, but he was wondering...
LT, what's up? Shout out to LT. Go ahead, yeah.
He was wondering, could there be, or are there plans to have a blueprint design contest?
Wow.
That's certainly an interesting idea. And, you know me, I love the community contests and stuff like that, getting ideas from you guys. So definitely something I could maybe pitch to the team, see if that could be an option. Get some holders to provide some design ideas, maybe see if one of them can become blueprint. Never hurts to ask.
That's
nice.
nice.
That's my job, is bring those requests up to the team.
That's a good concept. I love that.
And then Ryder Ryan in the house, just to shout out to Ryder Ryan.
Oh, what's up? Yep. Look, I love her. I love it. The blueprints definitely has to do with the land. The land is a big draw for me personally. Like I can't wait to look at the whole map, figure out what land you want to get, figure out where you want to have your land. There's a lot of different dynamics with that when it comes to even partnering up with your guild, determining what you want to do in certain areas, and just the idea that you can form the Messina. You can make it what you want, especially if you partner up with people and have different things on your land, different locations. I The four that were spelled out in the white paper was dwellings, like I guess residential areas, a house to live in. Don't know what kind of in-game advantage that would bring, but I guess a house. The shops. I'm thinking building some items, selling some things, making some currency that way. Forges and mines, which again, you'd have to have the forges or mines to get the material to make these different in-game assets. So the land to me is great. Spelling out some of those things, and I think even other options of building different things on the land. Prime mines. What do you guys think about the land and what it how they brought that up in the white paper?
This is by the dip. I always tell everybody, the way they put it out seems like a real economy, right? Like economy that would work like outside here. It seems like it's going to be the same thing that's happening in the game. And don't be surprised because there's a lot of like, even if you have like someone who has like who's a gecko breeder, right? Because I know they have the gecko. What is it, like the skewers, and then
Gecko on a stick.
Yeah, gecko on a stick. So you might even see some of that. There might be other stuff like the farming, right? Those berries that help champions like revive. What if you had just like a big, I forgot what kind of berry it was, blackberry or something like that. I don't know, but it was in the lore. Maybe Ryder Ryan can go on that.
Maybe
on
it was
the
Zark berries.
Zark berries. So that's what intrigues me the most. There's a lot of different stuff we could do with this game.
How do y'all like the land? In the white paper, are you excited about this part? You waiting for it? What do you think?
Thing that I was excited about, it wasn't even necessarily in the white paper, but it was when Zero Cool said that they're going to be releasing land in phases. So, like, I don't know if that was unknown alpha that he dropped, but I mean, like, that means that the map that we see here isn't everything, boys. This is just the beginning. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Speaking of contests, there's a CA Codex contest going on right now for people who want to contribute content, and they're giving away, I think it's like 2 ETH altogether for people that are can contribute.
Oh, the Codex, nice. Nice.
Maybe it's not 2. I'm sorry, I'm thinking 0.2 maybe.
Mm-hmm. Well, the contest story is great. Yeah, and then with the land, and I know we've heard about the founder land before, like land that the early holders will be able to get. Chris, since you're here, and if we don't know, we can speculate too. Is there a difference between the founder land and regular land after the founder land, or how was Can you shed some light on that for us, if you're able to?
Not specifically. I think. Now, this is just for what I remember of how it was explained to me. I believe the founder land is just essentially you guys are the first to get the shot at the land.
Okay. So then, and I'll say, so if you're a holder, if you start today or if you start before the land comes out, in a sense, you're getting a founder land just because you're starting at the beginning of the game.
Unless you like sell your Messina tokens to someone else, but
Right. Okay, that's exciting. I can't wait for that part to come out. I think it's a big thing that drew me to the game.
And the big question I have too, I'm sorry, Captain Chris, you own Prime Eternals, and I know a lot of listeners here would like to know, how many Prime Eternals do you own, and what is your plans as far as land? What do you want to build? We know Squiddy wants to do the Squiddy Dome, so what would you like to build?
Well, so I have 3 Prime Eternals. I definitely know I'm at least setting up a dwelling in the Arcane area, representing my house. And then after that, I honestly don't know. I think a forge would be really cool to have. And then well, I'd love to have like a tavern of some kind. I used to own an esports bar. So having one of those in Messina to carry the spirit forwards would be awesome.
Nice.
And Chris, you made mention of the crew, so I did want to ask you about that as well. What is the crew, and will the crew be involved with what you're planning for your land acquisitions?
The crew was a baseless speculation on my part of just me joking that, with all these different guilds and stuff, it'd be easier for me to start my own than pick a side. Have not confirmed that I will start the crew, but, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can be won over by one side or the other.
I like that you're keeping the mystery alive there. That's good. That's good.
Yep. You can bring the whole crew over. That'd be fun. Or we could just, fight it out somewhere. And when it comes to all of that, the land, the blueprints, forging things, all of that's going to take currency. And I think in the white paper, at least 3 forms of currency were mentioned. The essence, the Messina, the diamond. I'm not even sure which, if any of that was new. I know that we're looking at the Messina when it comes to staking your champion, and then the diamond when it comes to staking your champion. But I think this is the first time I heard of essence. It might have been in the lore. And using all of that to buy different things. And so we heard Zero Cool talk about sinks, right? Ways that people would want to spend these tokens. What that really is, to me, the way I take that in is really just driving up the demand. So the better the game is, the more that people want to buy the in-game assets, want to use their tokens. That's what the sinks are. And also the more that people want to level up their champion, that's what the sinks are. So the higher the demand, the more people that are in the game, the more sinks that there will be, and the more valuable the tokens will be. What did you guys take from the different types of currency and how that's going to be used in the game?
Again, this is by the dip. So basically, what I took it is essence is going to be our main. It's going to be like a DAO currency, right? To where what he says, you could basically swap it for ether fiat. They want to get to those points, right? So it seems like essence is going to be like a really, really big utility token. And Messina and Diamond, like they said, you'd be able to get special gear in the game or even have special items in the game with that. And then Messina is going to be for the land. And then you have the bone, right? It's called Bone Coin. I think they have it out there. The Bone Coin is, if you want to just recycle your champion. So, I mean, I like it. And they said there's going to be more to come out too.
Yeah, when it comes to the diamond too, I see that as kind of just like the in-game flex, right? That's what you're just buying some gear, some diamond gear that just shows that you're a holder, and the more diamond that you get, you can probably buy, some more impressive diamond gear, like
Maybe some
skins.
big chain, maybe some big chains and stuff. Make me look like Mr. T. Make my Granda look like Mr. T out there.
I see.
I see the essence as the entryway for the free to play people, because they don't have Messina coins, they don't have diamond coins. If you're a free to play player, you're going to be coming in, fighting in the arena, and earning your essences.
Mm-hmm. So I wonder that too. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Is what does the free to play player get? Do they get anything? And going all the way back to one of our earlier episodes, we were talking about the maestros. Are they just a maestro? I don't think that you'll get one of the champions that we breed. They won't be getting that for free unless y'all are giving some away. So I wonder what is that? What's the free to play player part?
I could speak to it in a little bit of some loose ideas. We haven't nailed down the exact specifics. Mm-hmm. But the idea is essentially start someone off with a non-NFT just to try the combat character. And the idea is there'd be no progression, there'd be no gear, but they could, go into an arena and fight amongst each other, be like, wow, this is some amazing combat, and be able to be in the open world. Then they see you walking around a Prime Eternal with their wings, you got your diamond chains on, looking like Mr. T. And they're like, well, I want to be that now. And that's when they enter into the actual economy, they buy in, and they start having, a real character. Because that's the core is we want to make a really fun game. So people come in, they can try the combat, they're not progressing the same way you guys are. They're not becoming Eternals until they start going. I don't know exactly what the con's going to last for, but we want the game in people's hands so they can try it. They can be like, "This is fun. I want to go and keep going into this."
That's right. That's the grunt level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought there was a tier missing from the white paper, from the original tiers that you guys released in that on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, this is about the NFT tiers. We haven't fully fleshed out what the free to play is going to look like exactly, but the idea is that essentially you come in, you try the game with a non NFT opportunity or something like that, and then ideally, just one tap credit card, you get a champion of some kind, you get some gear, and off to the races.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that
awesome.
makes sense. Yeah, and I guess that's to round out the white paper and the preview and what Zero Cool was talking about, and even the his post on the Discord before the white paper preview, he said that a lot of things were worked out in terms of making it very easy for just a credit card or debit card to get into game and start buying some in-game assets and getting into it, right, and spending some money.
Yes.
So that's amazing news. Folks coming in, so it depends on if the game is drawing people in. They don't have to go through the whole back door, the whole infrastructure, Web3, setting up your wallet part. They can just pay the money and start playing, with the rest of us right there. So that's a big development. And then even looking into it more, it looks like there's a whole exchange, like in-game exchange. Also, because I remember Zero Cool saying that we'd like to accept different types of currency, not just ETH, different types of coins and different types of fiat. So very open in-game exchange and accepting just the regular credit card and debit cards. How big is that, Prime Minds? What are your thoughts on that? And we're gonna round this part out.
This is V to G here. I think this is absolutely massive, man. We know that we just received version 1 of the white paper, and it was, we know because it has a version thing on there, but also because Zero Cool said it, like there's going to be updates to that. But there was a lot of conversation about future material from what you could read in version 1, about having exchange, about potentially having a DAO or governance token, about we have this initial chain that they're going to run on, but it sounds like what I read, Jam City is developing their own chain that would then make all of this a lot easier. So I think this is absolutely awesome. Like I'm super bullish on this because it seems like Jam City is doing everything they can to make this as simple as possible and to have a lot more of this what to a lot of people is cryptic and time-consuming crypto stuff happen in the back end where people just don't have to think about it at all. And that includes having exchange. Having exchange is massive for that. Just being able to switch between whatever you need to in-game and having that run seamlessly makes everything so much smoother.
Yeah, this is by the dip. I really like it because mass adoption means what? Mass players, right? The more players you reach. There's a lot of people that it's just so technical to hook up a MetaMask wallet, get ETH on it, swap it, or do whatever you need to do. That's a lot of steps that people don't want to take. And the great thing with this game is they're making it accessible to people who don't know anything about crypto. And that means more of the masses come to us. Now, I think a lot of that exchange is going to happen on that L2 platform, which I found was very interesting that they announced with it was a Evamos. And I read up a little bit on their website too. They're a legit chain, been around for a while. They're a side chain to ETH, Ethereum. So I'm very bullish on that.
Yeah, the layer 2. I've looked into a lot of layer 1s, layer 2s. This is the first time I heard of that one. I didn't dive into it a lot, but I think Zero Cool said it's gas free, or is it low gas, or is it gas free?
Low gas.
Did he not say gas free?
No, they did say gas free in the white paper. That was one of the big things I took away from it was they are working to make the exchanges between the coins in the game gas free, right?
Yeah,
Obviously,
I think
when
it's
you go to try
gas
and
free in the game, but then there's probably going to be a gas fee when you pull money out.
Pull
Probably.
money out,
oh
probably.
yeah, or if you have to try and convert it to Ethereum, there's most likely going to be a gas fee. But that was one of the big things that I kind of took away from this was between the information we talked about last week with the Zero Cool talking about all the regulatory hurdles that they went through before they thought they were going to have to. Them talking about wanting to do everything essentially for people so they wouldn't have to have their wallets, or they wouldn't have to have a custodial wallet or non-custodial wallet, which is what we all have our primes in right now, right? Like a MetaMask is a non-custodial wallet because you own the keys to the wallet. But essentially, from all that information, it's kind of hinting towards the fact that Jam City is setting up its own custodial wallet in game, right? So they will essentially have control of the wallets for anybody who doesn't already have a non-custodial wallet. That means that they're essentially setting themselves up like another Coinbase or Crypto.com or Binance, but in-house. That's huge. That is huge because that is them saying that they are setting up their own exchange. And that is pretty much one of the only ways that you can get around being able to do crypto purchases with debit or credit cards, right? Or fiat in any way, shape, or form is to be your own exchange. So like between the white paper and the announcements from Zero, like that's got me so bullish on Jam City, on anything that Jam City's making right now, if they've got that already under wraps. Like what other game company out there is its own exchange passed through regulatory hurdles in the United States already?
Wow. I love the way you just put that. It has me imagine that they already have the infrastructure in place to build big, to scale. It's set in place. Infrastructure is there. All of those systems and processes are, at least in place, or at least has the green light. And now they can just start to expand and scale. So that's nice. I'm digging it. I'm bullish. I know we all are. All right, Prime Minds. Look, we you all know, the watchers, the people who watch the show, who listen to the podcast, watch the YouTube. We have the Prime Time segment. Today we have a special little treat for you when we come back from this quick announcement. But a special little treat. There's going to be a fight simulator preview, and I want to give a shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to him right now. P-Ray, P-I-R-R-E. How do we pronounce that? Do we know?
I think it's P-Ray.
P-Ray, a Prime Eternal holder, made an awesome fight simulator, and we're going to start using that with our Primetime segment. But first, we're going to hear a fight update from the wider world of Messina.
And now, Primetime brings you the Sports Report. The weekend saw a major upset in the Messina Pro-Am tournament, where an amateur challenger known as Quick Blade beheaded the Carcadon champion Taurus Tun. A quick blade indeed. In the Vilbrew Mountain Arena, champion Joris the Patient tore off a Whisperer's arm and devoured it. No word yet on whether the Whisperer will continue the tournament. A wild animal killed former champion David Bravestone. This happened while he was trying to announce the beginning of a match. A bit rough out there in the outer territories. Watch yourselves. And home team favorites, the Brute Squad, again beat all visiting challengers. The remnants of the away teams can be picked up in the butcher shop by their former maestros. Our condolences.
Fucking around.
Well,
and you know
that's
what?
a wrap.
Shout out, I don't know
See
if
you
you
in the
know, but
Coliseum.
Vita G does all of our voiceovers. Shout out to the homie Vita G. That shit is amazing. But now we're going to prime time, guys. Are we gonna get some fans to give us some numbers for the fight simulator? How are we going to do this?
So the way this works is
will be number one.
Now the way this works is this is in the Prime Syndicate Discord channel, and so two people have to type in !battle, and it picks a random prime from their wallet, and then they battle each other.
Right. Who wants to do it?
We got 1156 from the YouTube channel so far for one of them.
So
does it have to
we
be
don't.
a-
Yeah,
it has
we
to be
don't
a
get
holder?
to enter it.
Oh, you
So-
have to do it ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
So should it
One
be
of us
one?
has
Of,
to do
so
it.
should be. Should it be? So should it be two of ours?
Yeah. So
Has to
if you
be.
go to the
Then I'll get
channel and hit exclamation point battle, then it'll pick one for you, and then we can
I'll
enter
get it.
that into the viewer. Okay.
Who wants to fight me? I'm look.
I'm down.
King Dav is in there. Let's do it, Z-Mackin. Let me get in there.
Number 7438 and 1694.
We just have to put battle.
My 2 divine,
Correct.
baby. Let's go. Yep.
Or y'all do it. Yeah, you guys do it.
Z-Macon goes first. He has 100 life. Uses his claws. Oops, he doesn't have any claws. Nothing
I don't
happened.
have any. Boom. That's the second time I've started out with that attack and with this auto battler.
I use my wings, but I don't have any. So nothing happens.
Negative attacks there, guys.
Okay, someone just
It's a long
interfered
one.
in our match. Let me see.
Use the blood skewer.
Stab me
Ooh.
with my horns, bro. Take that.
Z-Macon uses his tail for 8 damage against me. Getting
Scale
closer,
code.
boys. I use my horns and I give him 8 damage. I
I
have
really
the
like
Gondo.
using those horns. There's my divine horns. In the battle finally with some divinity.
Arcane Blitzkrieg. And I use my horns, Arcane, for 8 damage. Oh, 2 turns.
Ooh,
You're vulnerable. Use your wings for 12 damage. Ooh, that was a weakness of
Life
mine.
wings.
Mm-hmm. Use my war paint for 12 damage. Arcane. Z-Macon uses his divine horns on me, 8 damage. Is not vulnerable anymore. My war paint choose 8 damage. Oh, he's blinded.
You blinded me. You're cheating. Your war paint was too garish.
Fighting dirty.
My war paint again for 8 damage. Uh-oh, I'm
You
fighting
didn't
dirty.
blind me for any longer.
Is not vulnerable anymore. Z-Macon uses his divine horns, 8 damage. Okay, so you're not
16.
blind anymore. I use my tail to hit you for 8 damage.
Yep.
It's a close one.
Uses his rare war paint, hits me for 8. Then I use my common tail, and I get him for 8. He uses his fangs on me, gives me 8 damage. Ooh.
My hunger and fangs are in your blood.
Uh-oh. Here we go. LT put it.
LT
He's gone.
watching. What is it? 24.
Uses wings.
Little quick update. Life 20. Z-Mackin has 24 life. Dip has 20 life.
I don't have any wings, Dip. You're giving me the advantage now, bro.
Coming down
Don't
to
try
the
and use
wire
my
here.
claws.
Oh, 8 damage. Got that war paint again. That rare. I use my war paint back. 8 damage.
You're down to 12 health.
Oof.
Damn.
Oh no!
Blinded.
I'm
my
done.
garish war paint. I
got
think
me.
that's it. I think that's it.
I did Dip 4.
Oh.
Blinded.
Miss.
Misses with his last shot.
Ugh.
Z-Mackin has
Damn.
16.
Beat me.
Z-Mackin won.
Z-Mackin blinded him and killed him. Dulett says,
Get
get wrecked.
wrecked.
Get wrecked.
That was a great
Just
fight.
so you guys know, that is my first win in the auto battler. So,
Shout out again to Prime Syndicate member P Ray. That's an awesome auto battler. I fought once last night. I think I won. I got lucky. Does it choose a random one that you're holding? How does that work? Because I know I didn't choose. I just put battle.
Yeah,
and a
so
random one.
it picks a random champion from your pool that like your wallet that you've linked in Discord, and then it'll challenge the other person and picks a random one from them, and then he has these little kind of basic percentage of chances. Like if you use your tail, it has a chance to stun and stuff like that.
Yeah, I seen that. I got lucky because it chose my best fighter, and I mopped somebody up last night. I had like almost half my life still. I forgot who it was. It was my first time using it. That's amazing. Shout out again to P Ray. That's amazing.
I have a quick question on this.
Yep.
So, which one was by the dip? Was he the Whisperer or the Grondel?
The Grondel.
Interesting. So you have Purity 2
divine.
D2, and he had Purity 2 D1, but yet you lost.
Yep.
Interesting.
Interesting.
It's not just based on P&D. There's some skill involved, some luck.
Captain Chris, what'd you think about that little auto battler if you were to see it?
And that's pretty awesome. Like, love to see community building stuff out like this, finding ways to, interact with their champions, build a fun story around it. Love it.
Was that on our YouTube? Prime Minds?
Yep.
Yes.
Were you able to see that? Okay. I wasn't watching.
Shout out to Gonzaga for all of his dedicated hard work and making sure that all of you guys can see what we were doing at this time. It's
I got the YouTube on mute so I can keep up.
You're watching it? Yep. I was watching it right in our Discord.
Yep.
Gentlemen, this was amazing. Captain Chris, thanks for stopping by. We're about an hour and 13 in. I think we covered a lot. I think a lot of us are still processing the white paper and kind of what that means for the game. The way where the game is going. We're still processing. We're still envisioning it. Captain Chris, anything you want to tell to the community? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to let us know before we go?
I was supposed to say, thanks for having me here today. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to getting some more AMAs coming in the near future on some more of the topics that you guys want to dive into in the white paper. So we'll see what the first one is, and keep on doing awesome community stuff like this. This is really what makes the community keep thriving. Is the podcast, the videos, like everything you guys do.
We appreciate it. All right, Prime Minds, let's go around. How are we feeling moving forward after the white paper? What are you feeling like the sky's the limit, I'm sure, but what are you feeling like the near future is after this white paper? Let's go around. Let's start by the dip.
Yeah, this is by the dip. Very excited. I think we're literally the pioneers of something big. We just don't know it yet. It's just like you have land and it's just sitting on a gold mine and you don't even know it yet. This is what this is. And I'm going to tell everybody out there, don't sleep on this project because you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt a year from now. By this year, 2023, we're going to be so glad that we made this investment. So just keep holding, man. And very bullish. Nothing has changed with the project. And if anything, they're getting better.
At the same time, this is not investment advice. Ain't that right? How y'all feeling? The rest of us.
Yeah, this is Gonzaga. I'm super excited. I think all of us have faith in this project, and we're holding on for a long time. And the difference in energy and alpha between the last 2 months and last week is just amazing. And I hope we can keep up with that momentum and letting the community know more information as it becomes available. Yeah, it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, Z-Mac, and I'm over here. I'm hyped. I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm always looking forward to next weekend with you boys. Another Prime Minds, but I'm definitely looking forward to these AMAs coming out. I'm gonna obviously reread the white paper, a couple times, and just stay active and do whatever we can. Looking forward to this the Discord getting more active again, and I just gotta say it, but win white paper version 2, boys.
Right? Vita.
This is Vita G. Man, I just had a really good time this morning. Thanks everybody for being here, both in the community, to the Prime Minds, to Captain Chris. We love being able to interact with you all. Love having people from the team on. Dev, how do you feel about announcing next week's guest? We do have a guest for next week as well. So
Vita, look, shout out to Vita and Z-Mac, and you all are the one that are reaching out to get everybody on the schedule. I don't think I find out to the middle of the week. Who do we have coming on? You let me know.
So next week we have a pretty big guest. Johnny to the Moon Casamessina is going to be on our show next week. We're just going to be chopping it up with him, so you will not want to miss that.
I didn't know that was next week already. What?
It's next week, man.
I was talking to him in the Discord, so he listens in. I'm humbled, but I think he's a fan. So that is amazing. We're gonna talk to I think this is his brainchild that we're all diving into, that we're degenerating over. So that'll be fun. Next week, To the Moon Casamessina will be on, and I'm feeling great. I know that the sky's the limit with this project. These things are being spelled out for us. I was just waiting. I'm a patient person. King Dab is patient over here. I think the Prime Minds are patient, but it's really good to see these things are set in stone and they're written out in the white paper. And I'm just ready to, grab the keyboard and start playing this. So, one last thing. I wanna know why, and this is just a question. We don't need an answer. The cake that Zero Cool got. Who sent somebody a cake, and what was the damn flavor? Was that an airdrop? Maybe we'll ask Johnny if he sent Zero Cool a cake. Maybe we'll ask Zero Cool if he ever comes on here. But we want to know. Prime Minds want to know, what flavor was that cake, Zero Cool, and where the hell did it come from? Till then, next week, next episode, y'all heard it. We're having the man, the myth, the legend, to the moon, Casamessina, with us next Saturday. I think we'll be on at our normal time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Till then, Prime Minds think alike.